Hi, thanks for joining me today. We're going to be making an heart applique. You can see I've made this one out of yarn. We've made this one out of number 3 thread. And today we're just going to use some scrap worsted weight yarn and an H hook. I want to start out by showing you the written pattern. Because we're going down one side of the heart and up the other, I chose to write the pattern going like this because I thought that made the most sense. So you can pause and make a note of all that. And then let's get started. First thing we're going to do is start with a slip knot. Chain 2. And then we're going to put 9 half double crochet all in the first chain that we made, the second one from the hook. It doesn't matter if you start, which loop you start your stitches under. I'm going to put mine under the top leg of the V and the bump in the back. And then we're just going to put all of the stitches into that same spot. And as we go, that's hole that we're working into will probably start to stretch out a little bit, and don't worry about that because when we weave in the end of this tail here, we'll just weave it around that hole and pull it up tight and you won't even notice it anymore. You could also start this with a magic circle if you like, but I find this way a lot easier and I just always prefer it. Let's count and see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more, there's 9. And then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. So you've got our little circle. And this one didn't stretch out too much. Kind of depends on your yarn. So next, in the first stitch of round 2, we're going to do chain 3 and then 2 double trebles. So we're going to yarn over 3 times, insert our hook, draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn up and pull through 2. That's our first one. We need to do 2. Here's our second one. Get my yarn ball out of the way. I'm going to drop him on the floor and let him roll around. All right, in our second stitch, we want to do 2 treble crochet. So yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And then we'll repeat that for our second treble crochet. In the third stitch, we're going to do 4 double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. You may be noticing by now, all these stitches are the same thing. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. You can make your stitches as tall as you like just by following that pattern. You could yarn over 10 times and do it. Okay, I'm talking, is that 4? Yes. In the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochet. And the fifth stitch, we're going to do double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. I did notice as I was trying this pattern out on a few different yarns, sometimes I couldn't quite get a good point with just one chain, and occasionally I put in a second. If you finish up your heart and you block it or just pull it into shape, and you don't have enough point here, you might try a second double crochet or a second chain in between your double crochets. All right, so now we're ready to do the 6th stitch, which is 2 double crochet. The 7th stitch is 4 double crochet. 1, 2, Next stitch is 2 treble crochet. The last stitch is 2 double trebles, so yarn over 3 times. 2, 3. And then chain 3. And then slip stitch right at that same base there. Kind of got twisted a bit. But once I pull them into shape, you can pull this one down and see we've got a nice heart here. Depending on your yarn, you might want to block it. I do have another video on blocking, but basically you just get it wet, pin it down into shape, and let it dry. Let me grab a needle and we'll weave in these ends and look at our final product. So I've got my needle and we're ready to weave in the ends. But before we decide how much yarn to cut, consider where you're going to be applying this. For example, on this applique, I stitched it to the hat by going all the way around the outside. So if you were going to attach your applique like that, you'd probably want to leave a really long tail so that you could go all the way around the outside. If you were just going to attach it in the middle, then you've just got this one little end and you don't necessarily need to leave as much. But just to show you how, I'm just going to leave a pretty standard amount of end. I usually kind of go in the vicinity as long as my hand. So we're going to go ahead and pull our loop through. Oops. Put our yarn through our yarn needle. And the first place that I'm going to put the needle is down here into the first stitch. Kind of pull that heart all the way closed. Make it as most balanced on each side. And I'm going to flip it over and I'll just put the needle through the back side of some of these taller stitches. And then turn around and go back through the same ones, only I'm kind of going above where I was before. And then we'll just snip off the excess. And then I didn't end up with a very large hole in the middle, but I'll show you what I meant about weaving in the ends around the hole. So basically, try to get under a few of these stitches from the first round. And go most of the way around that first row, getting your needle under as many of that first round loops as you can. Sometimes if you worked pretty tightly like I did, it's easy to miss a couple, and it doesn't need to be perfect. But then once you've gone most of the way around, you can pull on your string and you can see that close that up completely. And then to secure that, I pulled so hard my needle fell off the hook. You can just go back the other direction in some other loops so that that tightness that you just created won't slip out. And you can cut that. And of course, if you don't know yet where you want to put your applique, then just snip the ends and you can cut another piece later when you're ready to sew it together. So there's our applique that can be used, gosh, I don't even know how many ways.